Hi, welcome to your first installment of 5-2 practice problems. This was such a huge chapter that I decided to divide the practice into two parts. We're going to have 5-2 part A and 5-2 part B. All right, 5-2 part A, we'll work with point slope form and standard form. And then in part B, we're going to work with parallel and perpendicular lines. So what you don't know is I already filmed this whole entire video during study hall. And then there was some error, and then the computer crashed, and then the next thing I know, the video was gone. So here I am filming it again. Not happy. I could be going home right now, but no, I'm sitting here at my desk filming the video over again. Okay, so for starters, example 1, this is on page 303 of your workbook. And I've given you kind of a template of the point slope form up here. This is what we need to fill in. This is the y coordinate, this is the slope, and this is the x coordinate. Okay, they've given us a point and a slope, so this makes it super easy. I'm not going to ask you to graph these. I think that that's not part of the online question, and these graphs are not suitable for these lines. I learned that in the first filming, so we're not going to do that in the second filming. We'll just fill out the point slope form. Okay, so here we have, this is our x, this is our y, and this is our slope. So when we fill out this equation, we're going to have y minus the y coordinate, which is -3, equals the slope, which is -1, times x minus the x coordinate, which is -6. Do not put minus and negative in reveal. You know it'll gag on it. So change this to y plus 3 equals, and yes, you do want to put the -1 in there, x plus 6. Something about them wanting it in point slope form, so they want the slope to be obvious. Don't just put a negative sign. All right. Number 2, we would start off with y minus the y coordinate, which is 6, equals slope times x minus the x coordinate. Okay, now what's going to happen when you multiply 0 times all this stuff? It's going to equal 0. So the way they write the answer, the way they format the answer in this is y minus 6 equals 0. Don't be tempted to move this -6 over to the right-hand side. Don't do that. Just leave it like this because they want it specifically in point slope form. Okay, next we would have y minus the y coordinate, which is 11, equals m, which is 4/3, times x, which is -2. Oh, wait, no. Oh, no. Isn't there a TikTok? No. TikTok song like that. X minus the x coordinate, which is -2. Now we need to simplify this to y minus 11 equals 4/3 x plus 2. And then that would be what you would put in there. You don't want to put a minus and negative. You know how picky Reveal is on their formatting. Okay. They want you to do the same thing. They want you to write an equation in point slope form. But in this case, they're giving you 2 points, which means you have to do a little extra work because you have to find your own slope. They're not giving you slope. Remember, when we find slope, we do second y minus the first y over second x minus the first x. 22 minus 6 is 16. Keep, change, which gives us a positive 2, which gives us a slope of 8. Okay. So we have slope, and now we have a point. In fact, we have 2 points. This is another opportunity for you to choose the point you want to use. There are 2 correct answers to every one of these. I'm going to go with the first point, and that's my m. So I would go y minus the y coordinate, which is 6, equals slope, which is 8, times x minus the x coordinate, so minus -4. Simplify this before you put it in reveal. Y minus 6 equals 8 times x plus 4. Number 5, again, we have to find slope first. So second y minus the first y over second x minus the first x. Keep, change. So that gives me -12 over 3, which reduces to -4 slope. I'll go ahead and just use the first point to be consistent. Means y minus the y coordinate. Now the y coordinate's -3. We know we're going to have a minus and negative thing going on here. So let's just go ahead and change it to plus. I know you all would have. Y plus 3 equals slope, which is -4, times x minus the x coordinate, which is 1. And that's our final answer for that one. Moving on down to here. Okay, first thing we want to do is find the slope. Second y minus the first y over second x minus the first x. So it's 2 over 2, which gives me a slope of 1. Now, I checked out the formatting on the answer for this one. They do want you to write the 1, okay? So you're going to have y minus the y coordinate. The y coordinate's negative. Minus a negative is the same as adding a positive. So it's going to be y plus 6 equals, put the 1, and then x minus 4. And yes, the 1 is part of the correct answer key thing, what they're looking for. All right, number 7, second y minus the first y over second x minus the first x. 4 over 3. So we have a fractional slope. I'll use 3 for my point. Oh, this one's easy. Y minus 3 equals 4/3 times x minus 3. Piece of cake, right? All right, the next order of business, next on our agenda, I don't know if you can see that when I have it. Yeah, never mind. I'm talking to myself. Next order of business, they're giving you equations in point slope form, and they're asking you to transfer them back to slope-intercept form. Okay, first thing you want to do is get rid of the parentheses. Okay, so we have y minus 1 equals 4/5 x, and then 4/5 times 5 is actually 4. Okay, then we need to get y by itself on the left, and we need to get rid of this minus 1, and we do that by adding 1 to both sides. That gives us y equals 4/5 x plus 5. Easy, right? Same thing. Get rid of the parentheses. Y plus 5 equals -6x, and this would be minus 42. Okay. Now we need to get rid of the plus 5, so we subtract 5 from both sides. That gives us y equals -6x minus 47. Well, that's a heck of a y-intercept. Wouldn't want to graph that one. Okay, get rid of the parentheses first by distributing. -3/4 times x is -3/4 x. And -3/4 times 8, well, 3/4 of 8 would be 6. And a negative times a positive is a negative, so we'll go with -6. Now we need to get rid of this 6 to get y by itself, so we subtract 6 from both sides. That gives us y equals -3/4 x minus 12. Just a little note on this one. When you enter this into the computer for your reveal answer, type it in like this. Y equals, put the negative sign out in front. Don't attach it to the 3 or the 4. It marks those wrong. But you put the negative sign out in front of the fraction, it marks it right. Just for future reference. And last one, let's get rid of the parenthesis by distributing the 1/6. So we will have 1/6 x. And we're going to have minus, this would give us 4/6, which reduces to 2/3. We'll just go ahead and reduce it. Now we need to subtract 2 from both sides. And that gives us y equals 1/6 x. And -2/3 and -2 gives you -2 2/3. If you don't trust me, you can do it on a calculator. But while I make a lot of mistakes in some stuff, I really like fractions. Okay. Now we have a couple of word problems here. I like 12 and 13. I'm not a fan of 14. I won't ask you to do anything like 14, but let's look at 12 and 13. They're just like what you just did. They're asking you to write an equation in point slope form. And in 12, they were giving you a graph, okay? And in 13, they're giving you a point and a rate of change. So basically, it's the same thing you just did, only surrounded by a nice, pretty little story problem. Yeah, isn't that nice of them to make up little stories for us? Okay, number 12, the frequency of a male cricket's chirp is related to the outdoor temperature. The relationship is expressed by the graph, where y is the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit and x is the number of chirps the cricket makes in 14 seconds. Write an equation for the line in point slope form. Okay, so basically you need to find yourself a couple of points here. We'll start with the easiest one, 0, 40. I like that one. Uh-oh, what did I do? What did I do? I do not want that. All right, let me pause this real quick. I'll figure it out. Okay, I hit something weird, but I fixed it. Okay, so we're going to go with 2 points. All right, we have 0, 40 is one of our points. And then we could go with this one, but I can't be positive where that one is. So I'm going to go with 1050, which does tell me that if I had gone with 5, I would have had 545. It doesn't matter. First thing we have to do is find slope, though. So second y minus first y over second x minus first x gives me 10 over 10, which gives me a slope of 1. Yep. For every 10 it goes up 10, that's a slope of 1. All right. And I have 2 points, so now I can write the equation using either of those points, okay? And not starting off with y equals, though. No, we need y minus the y coordinate. I'm going to use this point. So the y coordinate is 40 equals, slope is 1, and then x minus the x coordinate, and the x coordinate is 0. All right? There you have it. That's what it looks like in point slope form. Canoeing. Is that Jeff? I mean, way to complicate a name, you know. Jeff paddles his canoe at an average speed of 3.5 miles per hour. That's your slope. He travels at 3.5 miles per hour. After 5 hours of canoeing, Jeff has traveled 18 miles. That's your point. Easy peasy. Y minus the y coordinate, which is 18, equals slope, which is 3.5, times x minus the x coordinate. They did want point slope form. Yeah, they do. Okay. So there you have that one. Like I said, not a fan of number 14. We're not doing that one. We have too much other stuff to do. Way too much. Oh, you know what? This is how I screwed it up. I switched to the pointer and I accidentally hit the really fat writer thing. Okay. Didn't make that mistake twice. Now they want you to write equations in standard form. Remember, the rule with standard form is that A, B, and C all must be integers. But more than that, A cannot be negative. So that means that A, B, and C have to be positive or negative whole numbers, except for A, who can't be negative. Okay? B and C can be negative if they have to be. All right. So our goal is to get the X and the Y on the left-hand side and random numbers on the right. Pretty close to slope-intercept form, but not. Okay, again, our first order of business will be to get rid of parentheses. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 8 is negative 16. Now we need to get 2x over here, and we need to get this negative 10 over here. I imagine you guys are probably savvy enough to do this in one step. And if you can do it in one step, kudos, you go, you rock, you do it. I'm going to do it in 2 steps just because I'm teaching it and I want to go a little slower. It doesn't matter which one you move first. Okay, I'm going to move that minus 10. So I have y equals 2x, and then this is plus 10 and negative 16, which gives me minus 6. Then I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. and it gives me negative 2x plus y equals negative 6. But remember, I said a, or the coefficient of x, cannot be negative. So what we're going to do here is we're going to multiply every single term in this equation by negative 1 to make x positive. All right? Negative 2x times negative 1 is positive 2x. But a positive y times a negative 1 is a negative y. And a negative 6 times a negative 1 is a positive 6. And here you have your equation written in standard form. Legit standard form. All right, on to number 16. Y plus 7 equals, you know this video goes through number 24, so you know we've got a ways to go, but we're getting there. Negative 3 halves times x is negative 3 halves x. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. I forgot what section I was in. No, that's the long way. You want the easy way? I know you guys like the easy way. Because this has got a fraction, and it's going to stick to that x. First of all, we can't have fractions in standard form. No way, Jose. No fractions in standard form. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of that fraction. Okay, multiply both sides by 2. Okay, now here's where it might get confusing. Over here, we just distribute as usual. 2y plus 14. But over here, this 2 gets rid of that 2. But we don't multiply both of these terms by 2 because then we'd be double multiplying them. Do you see that this number now will become negative 3, okay? And then it's going to be multiplied with the x and the 1, all right? If we had multiplied them both by 2 originally, then multiplied them by negative 3, we would in fact have been multiplying them twice. So we don't do that, okay? Because this is a term multiplied by this, multiplied by that. We can just multiply the first and last ones, and then eventually the effect will be seen in here. Okay. All right, I ramble. 2y plus 14 equals distributing negative 3 times x, negative 3x, negative 3 times positive 1 is negative 3. Now, we need the 3x over here, and we need the 14 over here. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Miss Williamson, this video is long enough. Just go ahead and do it in 2 steps. Okay, all right, 1 step. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add 3x to both sides. And I'm going to subtract 14 from both sides. All right. This is what it looks like when you do it in 1 step. Now I have 3x plus 2y. This is gone. So now I have an equal sign. This is gone, and now I have negative 17. And you're done with that one because 3, 2, and negative 17 are all integers, and 3 is positive. So we're done. Right there. Okay, get rid of parentheses. 2y plus 3 equals negative 1/3 x. Negative 1/3 times negative 2 is positive 2/3. Okay. You want me to do 1 step again? All right, subtract 3 from both sides and add 1/3. Oh, you know what? I screwed up. Oh, I am so sorry. That had a fraction in it, and I keep forgetting that we're in standard form here. I just like to dive right in. You know how I love my fractions. We're going to multiply everything in this equation by 3 to get rid of that fraction first. All right, so 3 times 2y is 6y. 3 times positive 3 is positive 9. 3 times this cancels that and makes that negative 1. And remember, don't multiply these guys by the 3. That you will multiply them by the 3 through this number, okay? It's not a 1/3 anymore. It's a 1 now, so it has the same impact. All right. You guys got to remind me when you see a fraction that I have to get rid of the fraction first. Now we distribute. Negative 1 times x is negative 1x, or just negative x. Negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. All right, we need this x over here, and we need this 9 over here. So I'm going to add x to both sides. I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. It gives me x plus 6y equals, see this is gone and this is gone, and negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7. And this is an integer, it's 1, and it's positive, so we're good there. And these are both integers, so we're done there. No fractions in this one, just extra terms. I'm excited. We don't often get to distribute with 3 terms in the parentheses. This is real high school time now. She says as she copies the problem over. Distribute, distribute, distribute. 3 times 4x is 12x. I'm so mad. I did so much better in the first version of this video. 3 times negative 2y is negative 6y. And 3 times plus 1 is plus 3. I need to combine like terms over. No, I can't combine like terms. There's nothing like over there. All right, so the x and the y need to be booted, and the 3's cool. He's on the right side already. So I will subtract 12x from both sides, and I will add 6y's to both sides. 4y plus 6y is 10y. Negative 5x and negative 12x is negative 17x. And all that's left on the right-hand side now is the 3. I know what you're saying, Miss Williamson. Those are in the wrong order. I know. I'm going to fix them. Negative 17x plus 10y equals 3. It's still not right, though. Remember, we have to have a positive number in front of the x. So we're going to multiply everything by negative 1 to change that. Negative 1 times negative 17x is 17x. Negative 1 times positive 10 is negative 10y. And negative 1 times positive 3 is negative 3. And now that one you can take to the bank. Okay. Number 9 is one of those ones where it's so simple, it's hard. You know, sometimes if they don't give you enough stuff, kids get confused. But this one did give you enough stuff. We need x and y both on the left, so I'm going to have to subtract x from both sides to move him. That gives me negative x plus y equals 1. Now I just have to make x positive, so I do that by multiplying everything by negative 1. It gives me a positive x, a negative y, and a negative 1. It's fine if the y term and this term are negative. X can't be negative. All right, and here we have a fraction, and I noticed it this time. Multiply everything by 3. Now, there are no expressions in parentheses here, so every term will get multiplied by this 3. We have 3y equals 3 times a third is 1, so it's just 1x, and 3 times negative 10 is negative 30. We need to subtract x from both sides. That gives me negative x plus 3y equals negative 30. Now we can't have x be negative, so let's multiply everything by negative 1. Positive x minus 3y equals positive 30. Dun, 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 dun. Not too bad. Love hanging around in the afternoon, manipulating some equations. Okay, it's good times. Alrighty, so here what we have is now they're no longer giving us the slope. Now we have to find our own slope. And more than that, we have to write an equation in slope-intercept form before us to be able to put it in standard form. Okay? Well, you can also do it in point-slope form. You could do it in point-slope form. Oh, hang on a second. Hang on, let me pause this. Sorry, it's after school and people are stopping by on me. Alrighty, so here's the steps when you are given 2 points. First of all, you have to find the slope. I still have not mastered this digital pen. Find the slope. Then you write the equation in slope-intercept form. Then you change to standard form. Three steps. First, find slope. Negative 7 minus negative 3 over 4 minus negative 2. Negative 4 over 6, we have a slope of negative 2/3. Now we have to find b. Y equals mx plus b. We know m is negative 2/3, and we pick a point. Let's use 4, 7, because at least one of them is positive. Okay, so y is negative 7, m is negative 2/3, x is 4, and b is the thing we're trying to find. So negative 7 equals 4 times 2/3 is negative 8/3 plus b. Now we're going to run out of room. Okay, now we need to add 8/3 to both sides. And let's see, 8/3 would be equal to 2 2/3. And if you took 2 2/3 away from 7, you would have 4 1/3. I hope I did that right. Oh, now there's writing all over my face. So it'd be 2 2/3. Yes, that would be right. Okay, so now we have an m and a b. We know our m is negative 2/3, and our b is 4 1/3. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write this all in improper fractions. Or not all in improper, because this one's proper. Negative 2/3 x, but I'm going to change this to improper. And I'll tell you why in a second. This is going to be 13/3, and it's negative 13/3. I should make that negative. 13/3. See, because the 7 was negative, it was the bigger number, so when you added this to it, this would have been negative. Here's why I did this. When we go to standard form, we can't have fractions in front of our x. So I know the first thing I'm going to do is multiply everything by 3, and it's easier to multiply an improper fraction by 3 than it is a mixed number. So that gives me 3y equals negative 2x and minus 13. Now, to go to standard form, I need to get this 2x over here. So I would add 2x to both sides. I know this is a lot of work for one problem. Trust me, I know. Gives me 2x plus 3y equals negative 13. And there you're finally done with that one. Okay? Bet you can't wait for number 22, 23, and 24, huh? I know. I'm going to wipe this, so if you haven't written it down, you might want to pause the video. But I need space to write this one. Okay, so the slope on this bun, second y minus first y over second x minus first x, which gives me negative 5 over negative 7. Negative over negative gives me positive 5/7. So this is my slope. And then I'm going to pick one point. I'll go with the positive one and do the whole y equals mx plus b thing. Y is 7. Slope is 5/7. X is 2. And I'm trying to find b. 10/7. I multiplied 2 times 5 plus b. And now I'm going to subtract 10/7 from both sides. This algebra book likes to give you guys fractions. They must think you love them as much as I do. Okay, so 10/7 is equal to 1 3/7. So if I take 1 3/7 away from 7, I would be down to 5 4/7. That seems really weird. I hope I'm right. What number is this, 22? Let me check my answer key just to make sure I'm not completely insane. Well, I don't know yet because I've got the answer in standard form. We're just going to have to keep plowing ahead. Y equals mx plus b is our next step. We know that slope is 5/7 and b is 5 4/7, which I may need to turn that into a mixed improper fraction. Okay, so now we need to get the x and the y over here, but I notice that we've got a problem because we've got a fractional coefficient on our x, so we're going to have to multiply everything by 7. So I do kind of need to know what 5 4/7 is equal to. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 4 is 39, so this would be 39/7. So when I multiply this number times 7, I will get 39. Okay, so we will have 7y equals 5x plus 39. Now I subtract 5x from both sides. That gives me negative 5x plus 7y equals 39. And my last step then is going to be to multiply everything by -1 because I cannot have a negative coefficient on my x. So that gives me positive 5x minus 7y equals negative 39. Let me see, did I get it right? Oh, I did. God, that seemed wrong so many times. Oh, that's right. This is not an easy class at all. It's amazing the work they expect you kids to do. All right. These are my last two examples for this video. Let's hope this one doesn't die, and I'm going to have to just have you watch a movie the rest of the week. Okay, so first thing we need to do is find slope. Negative 9 minus 9 over 2 minus negative 4. Well, negative 9 minus 9 is negative 18, and 2 plus 4 is 6. So we have a slope of negative 3. That's our m. Now we're going to do the y equals mx plus b thing. We know that m is negative 3. All right, and we're going to use one of these points. I don't know, you want to use this one, 2, negative 9. We can use that one. Y is negative 9, negative 3 times 2. And we're trying to find b. Negative 9 equals negative 6 plus b. Add 6 to both sides to get b by itself, and we get negative 3 equals b. So the equation in slope-intercept form is y equals, oh, where was my slope? My slope is negative 3. I got confused there for a minute. And my y-intercept is negative 3. All right? Now I need to get x over here. So I'm going to add 3x to both sides. Oh, this one didn't turn out being bad at all. I get 3x plus y equals negative 3. And that one's right too. Awesome. Cool. I'm going to wipe this, so if you want to write this down, pause the video now. And my last example from this lengthy video, there's only half of this chapter. Find the slope. 35 minus 19 over 3 minus negative 1. 35 minus 19. Well, if it was 35 minus 20, that would be 15, but 19 is one less, so it's going to be 16 over 4, which gives me a slope of 4. So using y equals mx plus b, let's substitute. Let's use the smaller point. 19 equals, m is 4, x is negative 1, and we want to find b. 19 equals negative 4 plus b. Add 4 to both sides, and we get 23 is b. So I have my m, and I have my b. I can write my equation. Y equals mx plus b. Now my final step is to put it in standard form, which means I need to move 4x over here. I do that by subtracting 4x from both sides. That gives me negative 4x plus y equals 23. And I now need to multiply each term by negative 1, which gives me 4x minus y equals negative 23. And that is a wrap. All right. So, like I said, there's a whole lot of information in this section. And so I'm going to save parallel and perpendicular lines for tomorrow. All right. Until then, I will see you guys in picture day. And I hope you have a great and wonderful day. And if I do have a sub, be nice. Okay.